the message that presses the brain. Those other podcasts, they seem microscopic, cause they're the big dogs that drop the hot topics. So sure, be more dumb, you just stay ready for DJ Boom, Shaheem, and on Demi. Put them together, there's a treacherous string from the tri-state area to the DMV. So sit back, relax, get your Sundays on after morning, gone before dawn. That positive vibe that we hitting so strong with this podcast show, you can't go wrong. So here we go, 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 here we go. What's up, everybody? And welcome back to another episode of From the Shore to Be More. I am one of your hosts, media personality, singer, songwriter, Shaheem.
Yeah, man. I'm a host as well. I'm Deborah Singletary, a.k.a. I'm Debbie.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's yours truly, DJ Boom, here in the building, making it do what it do each and every Sunday, right along with these two. What's happening, everybody?
And yes, of course he is. And yes, of course we are the treacherous three of the tri-state area and the DMV.
Here we go, here we go.
Here we go. And it's good to see everybody back with us for another fantastic episode, everybody. We got a lot to talk about. Come on in. Today, are we a product of conditioning? Let me explain. Growing up in whatever environment you're growing up in, you've become conditioned to a certain reality, believe it or not. And we're going to talk all about that. Or have you? Have you? That's an even more interesting question. So we're going to talk about all that on today's show. Right, guys?
I like it. I like it.
Good,
We're going to try to
bad,
make
or
it do what it do.
good, bad, or whatever, everybody. It's going to be a great conversation, and so we're glad you're here for it. That being said, I just want to mention real quick, last week's show, Chillaxing, the art of kicking back. We got a great response on that show, and I gotta admit, I absolutely love that topic, if I'm being honest with you guys. I thought it was a great one.
For sure, yeah, I enjoyed it as well, because I find myself these days trying to do that more and more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chillaxing.
Absolutely. So, guys, if you missed that conversation, you can go back and catch it on our YouTube channel. And please don't forget to subscribe. We're trying to get them subscriptions up. And hey, to all our Facebook fans that are watching, we get a lot of numbers on Facebook. So I definitely want to shout you guys out. So what's up? Thanks for watching the show. Thanks for supporting the show, everybody. That being said, I just went real fast. I went back and I watched last week's shows, guys. And my shirt that I was wearing was going crazy. I knew it during the show, and you can see me playing with it during the show till finally I straightened it up more toward the end of the show. And I'm only bringing that up to say to my co-host, look, guys, if you see me looking freaky on the show wearing something, please say something. Don't let me go through the whole show looking crazy.
Did you see anything, Boom? I didn't see anything.
I like to let you self-express. You know what I mean? I don't
is
want
that
to.
what it was?
I don't want to step. I want to step on your expressing yourself. You know what I mean? I want to.
Okay. That's well, I want to express myself a lot less than I did last week, everybody. So listen, if you see me looking crazy, y'all can comment. Y'all can say, "Look, boy, straighten that shirt out." How about that?
I just think you're perfect. So.
Oh, thank you so much. You just warmed my heart. Thank you so much, on Debbie, and I think the same of you. That's why we.
Is that why Terry said we all look great? Because last week you was the hot man. Okay, cool.
As soon
Thanks,
as I
Terry.
got off the show, I had to hear it. As soon as I got off the show, and then I looked back. I don't want to stay too long, but then I went and looked back, and I was like, oh, I look like a pimp. So yeah, okay, whatever. But moving right along, everybody, real fast. I do want to also mention the NCAA championship games today between the men and the ladies. Hats off to the men, but those who watch the show know that I love to support the ladies. So I'm going to give a special shout out to the ladies. Okay, it's going to be UConn versus South Carolina today, everybody. The game is at 3. I know you're going to go want to see it. So shout out to them. And shout out to the guys, too. Shout out to 'cause Houston beat Duke. Nobody saw that coming. Have you been paying attention? Boom.
I don't watch college basketball. It's too many teams. It's too much to keep up with. I did see that Houston beat Duke last night, and all over
Big
Facebook,
upset.
everybody was
Big upset. Shout out to
sad.
Houston.
But they was number one. They was number one ranked too. So
Yeah. I think they slept on them boys. Duke has such a strong following. I think that people just, I don't know, took for granted that they were just going to run over Houston. That did not happen, and a lot of people was in tears this morning.
they were.
Oh.
I
it was all
seen
over
some
the
of the
place.
comments all over Facebook. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, wow. I thought something majorly happened. One person said, "Oh, I'm just so devastated."
Yeah.
And so everybody's like, "Well, what happened?" She's like, "No, it's just Duke lost."
So shout out to Houston. Shout out to them, and to the team. Their game is at 3-2. Everybody, so you go check that out. Also, if
Their
you've
game
been
is
following-
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Their game
The
is
game is
tomorrow.
tomorrow. I'm sorry. I know the
Mhm.
girls play at 3. I thought they played at 3 today too.
Yeah, they
Okay,
play
so
tomorrow. Florida
Tomorrow
and
at 3?
Houston. Yep.
Okay, good. Shout out to the guys. But I'm going to be watching the girls today. For sure. They're going to be going after. Also, if you've been following everybody, you also know that we're doing some spring cleaning around here, everybody. And like I promised last week, I was going to have some logos to show you guys. These are, because we looked at a lot of your logos, everybody, and we're having some disagreements behind the scene, right, guys, about which one to settle on, I think. So here are a couple of the ones that we
Whatever.
thought. You see what I mean, everybody? Here's a couple of the ones that we thought looked pretty good. All right, I'm going to show them to you guys real fast, and then you guys can comment and let us know what you guys think. Here's one from the Short of Be More podcast. We thought this one was pretty cool. Here's a different look. This one on that we thought was really Hollywood, but I think me and Bo thought it was okay. And so there's another one. I just threw this one in the mix because I happen to like this. I don't know if the guys like this one too much, but from the Short of Be More, and of course we were established in 2025, but that can be easily changed. And one last one, I think we all three agreed on this particular one, and we hope you guys like it too. From the Short of Be More, everybody. And so, yeah, those are the ones. And help us out. Let us know which one you guys, 1, 2, 3, or 4 in that order. And you can comment and let us know which one you guys.
Yeah, I like number 4. I like number 4. I like what it represents.
Right.
And that's what I'm sticking to. No one will change my mind.
Yeah, I think
I like number 4, but it does need some tweaks.
oh,
It's like grammar.
my aunt is such a perfectionist, everybody.
No, I'm
no,
not.
okay. I'm sorry.
I am skilled and observant.
There you go. That's the way.
You know what's
all right.
interesting? You remind me of somebody I was just talking to about a flyer that I posted. I'm gonna post the flyer a little bit in a little bit when we have the opportunity. But when I tell you the critiques coming along, I'm just like, listen, I'm not here to coddle adults. Read the flyer, read it, and go on with your life.
Yeah. I mean, listen, those imperfections on the logo, they can be fixed. They can be easily changed. But I just want to mention this. I make a lot of the flyers on the show, ladies and gentlemen, and I realize that they're not always grammatically.
Grammatical. Your flyers are
Grammatical.
always brilliant.
Well,
I'm
thank you very
very
much.
impressed with your work.
Well,
And
thank
if I have an observation, it is not a criticism of your work. It's a respect for your work.
no,
I
take
No,
no
we
criticism,
just
but-
teasing. We just teasing, Auntie. We just
Yeah. Because
Messing
listen,
with
your criticism, when you criticize me, I know that you are helping me to grow.
It's not.
It's not to hurt me at
criticism.
all.
It's not a criticism. It's a knowing, intelligent, informed suggestion.
I love it. Like
But I realize
It's
that
not a
they're always
trash man.
perfect.
It's a janitorial supervisor specialist.
Exactly. Exactly.
That is the best way to put it. But I realize that they're not always perfect, and not just on Debbie. On Debbie, she always has very kind things to say about my flyers. But sometimes you might say, "Oh, that's not right. That's not right." But I learned a long time ago not to take that stuff to heart. It is what it is. As simple as that. That's how I live my life. It is what it is, and I feel so much happier because of that. It is what it is, everybody. That being said, help us out, everybody. Just again, please let us know which logos that you like. And while you guys are checking out, hello, Nookie.
Hey,
so good
Nookie.
to hear from you.
Welcome to the show.
It is so good to hear from you. I feel like we haven't heard from you in a while, so it is very good to see you out there watching, and everybody out there watching. And listen, while you guys are watching, we're gonna be backstage doing this.
Now if it's your birthday, get on up. Now if it's your birthday, get on up. Now if it's your birthday, if it's your birthday, if it's your birthday, get on up. Now if it's your birthday, get on up. Now if it's your birthday, get on up. Now if it's your birthday, if it's your birthday, if it's your birthday, get on up. Turn it up. Now we gonna have us a good time, good time. We gonna.
And we all gonna have a good time, everybody. Happy birthday to all of the Aries out there celebrating your birthdays today, in the past week, or the upcoming week. We, the three of us, want to celebrate your big day with you, right, guys?
Yeah.
You absolutely know I am.
God, these Aries make me sick to my
The
stomach.
number one is on deck. The number one is on deck.
Okay, well, that being said, do you guys have anybody you want to shout out? How about you, Debbie?
I do have someone. I am the
Great.
progeny of an Aries. And so if you find me quick to speak, assertive, and energetic, it's because of my mother, Doris Singletary, who was born in April in 1927. So if you have any complaints, talk to her.
No, I haven't met your mom, but from all the stories I've heard, she seems like a pretty tough lady. So I don't want none of that. I don't want none of that smoke.
I'm not suggesting that you do it, but
Right.
Okay, all right.
Pick and
about you,
choose
Boo?
your battles. Pick and
Oh.
choose your battles.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
Yeah, I got a couple people I want to shout out. First of all, I'm gonna shout out one of my mentors who helped me become DJ Boom, and that's DJ Mike Mumbles. I got to show
Mike Mumbles.
Mike Mumbles love. His birthday was on Friday, so shout out to DJ Mike Mumbles. Continued to get in better health and better spirits.
Right.
Sent your way, the positive healing energy sent your way. But I have to
Right.
shout out Mike Mumbles. Happy birthday to
Shout
him.
out to Mike Mumbles. Let me, can I jump in for 1 second?
Absolutely, go ahead.
Mike Mumbles has been a friend to the family for a long time down in Baltimore. Everybody, he's been a big supporter of us back from way back when we were La Farin. Shout out to Samir and everything. And he's gone through a number of very, very serious health issues over the last couple years, and so we're good. We're happy that he's celebrating yet another birthday. So big shout out to him. I'm sorry. Cody.
Absolutely. No, you good to go. I got to shout out his partner in crime too, DJ K Spin.
All
He is
right.
another Aries. Shout out to DJ K Spin celebrating his birthday. Today, one of my good friends, Sade, aka Shadazy, her birthday is today. So shout out to her. Right. Happy birthday to her. And tomorrow is our cousin Serena's birthday. So
Yes, it
shout out to
is.
Serena.
Big shout out to
Happy
Riri.
birthday to her.
Watches the show all the time.
Right. And coming up on the 11th is James, Uncle Jamie's son, James. His
Shout
birthday
out to
is
James.
April 11th. So shout out to James with his birthday coming up on Friday. So those are my birthday shout outs. And if I missed anybody, I'll pick you up next week.
All right, shout out to all of those guys, for sure. I do have some personal birthdays this week that I want to mention to everybody. First, I want to mention some people in my wife's family. Miss Erica Scanius, her birthday is coming up on April the 8th, on Tuesday, I think. So I want to say happy birthday. My wife and I want to say happy birthday to her for sure. Shout out to them. We saw them yesterday at a big party for yet another cousin, and that would be Miss Shayna Sconyers Ray, everybody, who's turning 50. She is joining the club, and so the family got together yesterday to celebrate her birthday, and it was a fantastic evening. So my wife and I want to say happy birthday again to Shauna. We always have so much fun with Shauna.
Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club.
Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. Also, Jeffrey Berry, his birthday is actually today, I believe. So I want to say happy birthday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Jeff. We hope you're enjoying your day, for sure. I'm sorry. So happy birthday to you too, Jeff. Those were my personal ones, and I have just a couple celebs that I'd like to run through real fast. Everybody, if you don't mind, I want to say happy birthday to this guy here, first of all, Bill Bellamy, the comedian Bill Bellamy. April 7th is actually his birthday, so his birthday is coming up. We went to see him a couple times. He is so funny, and I just enjoy his stuff. So happy birthday to him. Also, I have to say happy birthday to one of these queens here. Happy birthday in heaven to Maya Angelou, everyone. Born April 4th, 1928, passed away May 28th, 2014, everyone. I gotta say, my wife and I went to see her when she was giving a lecture at the college that my wife works at. And it wasn't like a speech or a lecture. She told stories, ladies and gentlemen, and her stories were riveting. You were glued to every word that she said, and it was an incredible night for us, something I will never forget. So I had to say happy birthday in heaven to her, everybody, for sure. Also, I want to say happy birthday to this guy here, man, Mr. Colt 45 himself, Billy D. Williams, everybody, who was born on April 6th today, everybody. So happy birthday to him too, boy. Oh, yeah, the ladies used to swoon for that guy back in the day. So ask your grandma, everybody. Ask your grandma. She can tell you something, everybody. I also want to say happy birthday to this hip-hop legend. Happy birthday in heaven to the one.
That's what I'm going to sing. You got what I need.
It's okay if you go ahead and sing along, everybody. New York Soul, Biz Marquis, Marcel Field Hall, everybody. Happy birthday, passed away on July 16, 2021, everybody. It's okay if you're home singing, everybody. I was singing it too when I was making this. It's all right. So happy birthday to heaven to him.
Look, that's a good show topic.
What's that?
You say he just a friend.
You ain't lying. That is a good show topic. My colleagues are always looking for show topics, everybody. I gotta give you one more, and then we're gonna keep this ball rolling. I want to say happy birthday to the happy man himself.
By the way, because I'm happy.
Happy birthday to Pharrell Williams. April 6th, he passed. Happy birthday to him. I know I kept it going a little long. We're probably going to get in trouble for it, but I thought everybody just needed a little taste of happiness in the world today. Just a little bit.
Absolutely. I definitely can use some with what's going on around here, man. It's a lot going on. I just want to send some well wishes and some positive healing energies to my brother who's in the hospital right now. They still can't figure out what's going on, but I want to send some positive energy, well wishes to him right now. So yeah, that happy energy is definitely needed at this point.
Which one? Can you say? Or
Laquan.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Wow, that just changed my mood a little bit, but I'm sorry. I'm very sorry to hear that, and I'll try to reach out to them when I get an opportunity to. So yeah, a little bit of happiness in everyone's life. So listen, if you're having a birthday celebration or a celebration of any kind, there is a way that you can make the three of us a part of it. To level up your birthday party or any celebration, you need to call Shush Entertainment for your solid disco party experience, hosted by our own DJ Boom. Looking for that special gift? Look no further than hazytrades.com for a custom image 3-piece set for that special someone in your life. Or, if you're interested in an astrological reading, contact Business Carriers to find out how the stars are lining up for you. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, find out how the stars are lining up for all of you out there. And also, I want to remind everybody that our dear Aunt Debbie is an ordained minister, and she can get you hitched this spring if that's what you want to do. All right? And while you guys are thinking about that, we're going to keep this ball, what, Aunt Debbie?
Rolling.
Rolling!
You know, I guess right now we should start the show.
SCTV movies. Everybody, one of my favorite things to do on the show because I like to know what you guys are watching out there. So listen, guys, out there viewing, you can comment on the show, let us know what you're watching too. All right, guys, what you guys been looking at this week?
My niece, Boom's sister, Tawanda,
Shout out to Tawanda.
recommended The Wheel of Time. It's on Prime. It's a series.
Oh, that sounds good.
It is very action-oriented, mystical, and it is working my nerves.
Let me grab a pen. Hold on. Let me grab. What is it now?
It's called The Wheel of
The Wheel
Time.
of Time.
Let me just double check that that's the right. The Wheel of Time. Yes, on Prime. It's a
Prime.
series. Woo, baby!
Oh wow.
It's deep. It's
Okay.
fun. I'm a Golden Girls kind of watcher, but
So everybody is.
but
Thank you
it's
for
a lot of
being-
tension. But that's what makes a series good, right?
That's right. That's right. Well, thank you for that. Thank you, Tawanda, who always watches the show too. All right. Thanks, baby. How about you, Boom? What you been watching?
I actually did what I usually don't do and
What's
went
that?
back to watch movies. I usually don't watch movies over and over and over again. If I saw it once, that's probably the only time I'm going to see it. But I did watch. I'm waiting for the response from my sisters because I watched the movie with them that I never saw before. But I definitely want to say it because it ended up being a great movie, great lesson in the movie. But I did watch The Notebook over again, which is again one of my favorite movies to watch. And I did watch X-Men Apocalypse again. It's like you know, you see, I saw it before and I watched it again. I was like, I missed all this. So I was happy to go back and watch it. I did start watching a movie called Cell Phone.
Ooh, that sounds good too.
It's a horror movie, I guess.
What's up with you?
It's
I'm gonna have you
it's supposed to be.
examine.
Listen, it's supposed to be a horror movie, but you know,
Shout out to all the horror movie fans out there. I know y'all out there.
yeah, it was supposed to be a horror movie, as I said, but
Oh, okay.
it did nothing for me. You know, I didn't get startled one time, so whatever. Hopefully they'll respond.
Probably because you've been desensitized
Exactly.
watching all that creepy, gory stuff all this year. Huh? I'm just saying.
No, if you're gonna make a scary movie, make it scary. That's the whole point. Is you
I got you.
what is the
I got
point?
you. I got
Yeah,
you.
none of this stuff is just like, oh, okay, and they're gonna fall down and they're gonna get trapped in the thing. Okay. It's like, come on.
All right, well,
It's
what's his name? Cell Phone.
Yeah,
What's the name
the
of it?
name of that movie is Cell Phone. That's on Hulu. I watched X-Men Apocalypse on Disney, and I watched The Notebook on Netflix.
The note. We've been through this before about the Notebook. Let's not even go there. Let's not even
But
go
I watched the movie with my sisters on Tuesday. It had Barbara Streisand and what is this dude name? Oh God. Oh, I can see his whole face. I can't think of his name. Anyway, it was an old movie.
Right.
I don't know when it came out, but it turned out to be a very Jeff Bridges is the other
Okay.
actor in the movie. And I never saw it before. And you know,
Okay.
when people put on movies at their house, you're either gonna do one or two things. You're either gonna leave or sit there and watch it. So
Mm.
I sat there and watched it. It was actually a pretty good movie. You know, they would call those a chick flick, you know, with Barbara Streisand in it, and
Oh,
I'm not
the
sure.
psychologist, right?
Huh?
The psychologist. Was that the one where Barbara is going to a
She's the,
psychologist?
no, she was a professor at a college, and so was he. And he decided he wasn't gonna get his heart broken again, so he tried to find the perfect match. It was crazy. It was a great movie though. I wish they would chime back and let me know the name of it because I cannot remember what the name
Yeah,
of it was.
if
I
they're
think it was
watching,
the Mirror
let
Has Two Faces. That's the name of it. The Mirror Has Two Faces. That's the name
oh,
of it. The Mirror Has Two Faces. It was a pretty good movie. Terry, I know you will enjoy it. You know, not because she's a chick. I just know, or a woman. I shouldn't. I mean,
okay,
politically correct, but
all right.
you guys will enjoy it. I'm Debbie. You would enjoy it as well. And I think you would too, because if you and Terry sit down and watch it, I think you would enjoy it too.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give that a shot. Anyway,
Date night, date night,
it
date.
could
Right.
be. Could be. I might guess a good date night. I did catch some stuff, but before I jump into that stuff, I just want to mention this real fast, and I'll keep it rolling. My wife and my son, they have their own little movie club, and they watch their own things on their own. And I guess they were checking out that series that you mentioned on Debbie, The Wheel of Time, because she said yes, it's good, and I'm watching it with my son, not me. And then you want a date night, of course, okay? But whatever, it's all good. It's all good. Anyway.
Yep.
Anyway, I did watch one movie just for giggles, everybody. I thought it was fun. Not it's going to be some kind of huge success, but I did check out this movie, everybody. One of Them Days, everybody. I know you know all about it. It's been all over black social media, so I know you know all about it with Kiki Palmer and SZA. And it was a silly, fun movie to watch, everybody. So if you're looking for something just to sit down and have a good laugh about, this one would be a good one to watch. So I recommend it. And I saw it on Netflix. So there you have it. Netflix,
That
Hulu, and Disney all owe us a check. Go ahead,
Prime
Bruno.
two, Prime two. But
They
that's
all owe
what
us
it
money.
was. The Mirror Has Two Faces. It was made in 1986. So
Okay.
that's how we go how far back we went to watching this. And even then, Barbara Streisand was not an attractive woman. But it is what it is at the end of the
Ooh,
day.
ouch. Ouch. You see
I
old
don't
Debbie
know
shaking her
why.
head back there. I
Just
would
don't
say
know
about
why people. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I guess that's where we're gonna stay with that. Because
Well, I would say this, and I want to keep the show moving along. People would say that about Barbara, I'm sure, but one thing that's undeniable about Barbara Streisand is her talent. That's for sure. And she wasn't in a whole ton of movies, but the movies that she did star in were pretty much all great, successful
great movies, yeah.
movies. So shout
Mhm.
out to Barbara Streisand. How about that?
And that's on Prime, Terry. It's on Prime. The Mirror Has Two Faces.
Don't you be messing my house up. But whatever. All right. Listen, everybody. If you have show topics, because we're always looking for show topics, so please help us out. If you have show topics you think that our wonderful audience would love, or if you are a business looking to sponsor the show, there are ways that you can get in contact with us. To contact us, you can reach us on our YouTube channel, where you can comment, join the show, and please don't forget to subscribe. You could also watch, like, and comment, join the show on our social media pages. Our Facebook or Instagram is at From the Shore to Be More. Our Twitter or X is at 2_Be More. And our email is FromTheShore@gmail.com. You could also call the show at 732-455-2503. If no one answers, please leave a message and someone from the show will get back to you. And please, tell a friend. That's right, everybody. Please tell a friend. All right, here we go, everybody. I want to thank everybody for waiting so patiently for us to jump into today's topic. But we're going to go ahead and get started. And we encourage everybody to comment on the show and jump in. Are we who we are, or are we a product of condition? Have you been conditioned? In fact, what is your condition today? When you are raised, and I go back to that because I think that's the most important. That's the biggest way we become who we are. How we were raised. We learn from our parents. We pick up things from our environment around us, the school that we went to, and everything. A lot of us would say that probably 80-90% of us are conditioned to be workers from the time that we enter the system, the school system, yada, yada, yada. But that's only one type of conditioning. There are many, many different ways you can be conditioned, ladies and gentlemen. You could be conditioned in a way where religion becomes your entire life, and you find it hard to see anything outside that bubble. It's all conditioning, ladies and gentlemen. So that's what the topic is going to be today. What is your condition today? I will start with my own story. I feel that, of course, like everybody else, being raised, I was conditioned a certain way, and it was hard to break out that cycle. For me, I fell victim, like most of us, to the school system, which we go to in our neighborhoods and yada, yada, yada. So we're products of our environment, and conditioned to be a worker. And it was so hard for me to see outside that until different other people who were in business started introducing me to different things and enlightening me to the world outside of that condition, because it's so hard to escape it on your own. Would you guys agree? Jump in here, help me out.
Well, unfortunately, it started for you way before then, before school started, because you was born in the season of Virgo. So, it started out
Oh
wrong for
my
you.
God, you're gonna pay for
Uh,
that.
it just started out wrong. I mean,
Oh,
it
you're gonna
didn't
pay
go
for
in the right direction from the start.
that.
But no, I agree, with the whole conditioning thing.
Yes, yes, yes.
How we grow up, what we see, what we watch on TV, and now in
Mm-hmm.
2025, with everything going on with social media, I believe that these kids today are definitely being conditioned by what they
Mm.
see on social
Oh,
media,
absolutely. Video
as if
games.
that's life. Exactly, as if that is
Mm.
life, and that's not life. Just to let you guys know, it is not life.
No,
Some of this stuff you see on social media is made up by AI. You know what I mean? And you have to really pay attention to what you're watching and what you're seeing,
you have to.
because it's taking over what you watch on TV. You know,
Yes, 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 absolutely. And so I would also ask people out there, what is your condition today? Now that was my condition then. My condition today is different. Growing every day, like a lot of us out there. So my condition today is I'm able to see a world outside now of the world that I was brought up in or conditioned to live in. Everybody, and I believe I can achieve other things because of that. But that's a cycle that's so hard to break. And I want to go back to religion. When a lot of us are growing up in religious households, and I don't mean just the people who just go to church on Sunday. I mean some of us go to church 3 days a week because our parents are taking us 3 days a week, and we're in this club and we're in that club. So you're being conditioned from a very young age that this is the way to live. All right, well, maybe in your life you mature, you start experiencing different things of your own, and you start to maybe question things and start thinking outside the box. It is such a hard cycle to break something when you've been conditioned a certain way, and religion is such a hard thing when you've been raised like that to break out of, if you want to. If you want to choose your own way, everybody. I would first say that. But if you're looking for something different outside of religion, if you've been conditioned that way, it is so hard to break that cycle, because the people that you grew up with and that you knew are going to start looking at you funny. What the heck is wrong with this dude? He got a problem. Ain't nothing wrong with you.
I
You don't have a problem. You have been conditioned. Jump in,
I
everybody.
I had to learn this recently. I didn't know that I had these things going on, or wasn't aware, that
Okay.
I was conditioned into feeling and
Right.
thinking
Awareness.
what I was
Number one.
conditioned into doing. with some of my influences, and I'm not going to name names, but some of the influences in my life
Name
had me looking at things, in a not so good way. You know what I mean?
All
I didn't
right.
even put all of my
Oh yeah, I'm
energy
glad you brought that up.
into so for my marriage, when I was in my marriage, certain things I didn't do in the marriage because of outside influences talking, and not necessarily talking about my marriage, long before I even met her. The
Mm,
influence and the what they were saying and da 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 da. And so you're now bringing
mm,
that into what's going on. Like, well, no, I'm not going to do this, or I'm not going to do that, or let me make sure I don't do this so this person don't get mad, or this one's not upset because before when I did this made that person mad, or they had something to say about it,
mm.
blah blah blah. Where now I absolutely refuse to live like that ever again.
Good for you, brother.
Didn't even know it was happening until, as they always say, when the dust settles, literally when the dust settles, and all you have is yourself to look at,
Mm.
you begin to see, like,
You
oh
see,
wow,
yeah,
I
yeah,
do have a scar right there. And I do have a scar right there. And oh my goodness, I did hurt my leg. And that, you know what I mean? It's like, come
yeah,
on, you gotta. So
yeah,
now the healing process begins.
yeah. Oh, hey, but you struck. You said some really big things. One big thing: awareness. Awareness. That's the key word, everybody. I want everybody to say that with me. Awareness.
Awareness.
That's the
Da,
big word,
da, da,
everybody.
da, da.
That's the most important thing, to become aware of the fact that you may have been conditioned a certain way. I remember Boom showed a video, I think maybe a week ago, of a guy, and he was saying that girls were being conditioned to be single, meaning because they were brought up by single mothers or whatever and everything. They never got to see what it was like to be in a house where mom was married and had a husband and everything. That they may have been unknowingly conditioning their daughters to be single women, unknowingly. Everybody, oh, you have to be strong, you have to be able to stand on your own, yada yada yada. Okay, that's fine, and I'm not saying no, don't be those things, but if you're looking for a partner, you might have to start to loosen up on some of these things to make this thing
Right,
work a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So that's a whole different thing.
Absolutely.
So do you remember that video, Boom?
I do. I know exactly the video you're talking about. I wish I had was able to download it to be
Oh
able to play
yeah.
it on the show.
Oh, I wish I would have thought about that. That's bad production
But
on my part, ladies and gentlemen.
I do remember that video though. Yeah, and it is that. And
Yeah.
same thing for the men.
Would you would
Like,
say that? You would say that? Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it is
Okay.
very important for a young
The same
lady
thing for the
to
men.
see a man, right? So I think
Right.
it's
Right.
very important for a young lady to have a man around in her life to
I
have
think
some
you
sort
know
of
what, I think so
influence.
too, brother.
It's extremely important. Because
A number of reasons
that's
too.
their to be raised by for a woman to be raised by a woman is to me is counterproductive.
Okay.
You, you know what I mean? Because now you're raising this woman to be like you,
To be like you.
who
Right.
unfortunately I hate to say it might have multiple baby daddies,
Oh no. Uh-oh.
which now we looking at decision making. You know what I mean? Now are we making good decisions? And I got one with
Mm,
with this dude, one with this dude, one with this dude, one with this dude. Only
mm,
one of the dudes is treating his kid right. So because he's that guy, he's going to treat the rest of them right. And the other one's like,
mm,
and mom is just dealing with it. So when that young lady
mm.
grows up and sees this sort of influence,
May I chime? I'd like to chime in here
Yeah, of
because,
course.
Boom, what you're talking about is your conditioning that a woman should only have children, hopefully by one father. And so, so that's your conditioning that these women who have multiple fathers are doing something that is not wholesome for the
Mm,
community. And so I
okay.
think when we think about conditioning, we really want to understand that we are always speaking from our conditioning, our
Mm,
perspective.
mm, mm.
Conditioning begins at birth. As
I agree. I
when
agree.
you put pink on the girls and blue on the boys, the conditioning
Ah,
process has begun. And then we infuse in that our ideas of how boys should behave and how girls should behave. And there are some personalities that easily lean into it, but some conditioning is necessary. Part of
Okay.
conditioning is cross at the green and not in
Ah,
between.
okay.
We want to have that kind of conditioning. That's what helps create a certain amount of predictability and security,
Okay.
right? We,
Okay.
we condition our children, maybe some people disagree with this, to say thank you
Yeah.
and you're welcome.
Right.
And so we're not wanting to throw out conditioning because we're all born into a certain set of situations. And the people who are involved in conditioning us, often they want to keep us safe and they
Right.
want to keep us secure.
Right.
But there are natural cycles of growth inside the person that
Mhm.
will, in time, come to a point, and it's usually at 27, 28, 27 to 30, where after going through a cycle of conditioning, the individuals begin to say, just because my mother is a lawyer, my father is a lawyer, and my uncles are lawyers,
Yeah.
I want to be an artist. And
Right.
that's
Right.
from the inside. So conditioning doesn't necessarily trump the inner reality of the person. So in my own experience, I can remember telling my brother, Boone's father, that I didn't want to have children.
Right.
And he was beside himself. And like, first of all, I thought he had my share, so like, but I need to have
Right,
children.
because he was a nut
You
ball.
know,
That's why. Listen, I love all of my siblings, but he was a nut job because he wanted to have more kids than his mom, and I don't even know where that type of thinking comes from because he's crazy. No,
That's what he wanted. He wanted.
well, that's conditioning, so that
Mm.
the value of a woman's life is in procreating and being
Mm.
a wife and being a mother.
Being a wife,
And
being a
so
mom.
very early on in
Yeah.
my family, I went against that conditioning because there was something inside of me that spoke and said, no, baby, that's not for you.
Right. Right. Right.
Um,
And
you
I
know,
mentioned earlier, and that's difficult when you've been conditioned in whatever way. It's so difficult to break that because then, like you were saying, when you made the decision to have not to have children, you get looked at differently. You might even get chastised, talked about by the people around you because they've all were brought up in the same condition that you were, and so they can't see past that
yeah,
and now you're
conditioning.
starting
And
to
even
second guess you,
yeah,
and now you're starting to second guess you.
that's a good
well,
point.
I didn't. So because so it's my responsibility. So I think the conditioning is helpful to us because it
Mm.
helps us to see what we don't want.
Oh,
So
good, good.
because we're not born in a vacuum, we're born in the cosmos, but we are born in the construct. So I don't think that conditioning is brushing your teeth every morning and night,
Right.
which I had to ultimately learn to do myself because I grew up with 7 kids. I didn't grow up like that. I had to retrain myself. So we're not
Mm.
anti-conditioning, but what we want to encourage people to do is
Right.
to listen to the call within.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Inside of everybody, there is a knowing. And there is a
Knowing.
reason, I'd like to put it this way, there's a reason that we were born. And we may not have been
Purpose.
born to follow the conditioning. But I
Yeah.
want to say this for those people who were conditioned to be workers, and I think that's very powerful statement because I think I've heard Brian say something like, we're taught to be enslaved. So,
Mm.
and not just Black people,
Yeah, yeah,
humanity.
no,
So,
everybody in general. In general.
school was so that we could have, we were conditioned to think that Columbus discovered America when how
Yeah.
could we, when America was
It's
here,
already here.
with people,
Right,
um,
right.
way
I
way
got it.
before that. But
I got
what
it.
we also want to know, what we want to become aware of, it is our responsibility to say, you know what, I don't want to be an artist because everybody in my family is an
Everybody's
artist.
an artist.
There
Right.
was a time, there was a friend of mine who was leaving the state, and one of her daughters didn't want to go. And so the daughter came, she sent her daughter to talk to me. And I said, well, what are you going to do, daughter? And she said, well, I'm going to do what everybody else do. I'm going to get pregnant, have a baby, go on
Oh,
welfare,
oh, wow.
then I'll get an apartment. And I'm
Oh,
like,
wow.
everybody else?
Ooh.
I said, I didn't do that. So, it is up to us to, the word came up before, to become aware,
Aware.
to look
Yes. Thank
around, to notice when our body registers joy,
you.
and when
I like that.
body is registering, I feel stuck in the confines of this role.
Would you say?
Mhm.
Would you say, you or in Boone? Would you say that despite your conditioning, it's important to listen to? I guess the best word for me is your spirit, and in some ways allow your spirit to guide you, even if it is outside the frame of the condition that you were brought up in.
Yes.
If I didn't step out and listen to me, I wouldn't be DJ
Mm,
Boone. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I
That's what I'm
wouldn't
saying.
be.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Okay.
I allowed I allowed so much outside chatter um
Yeah,
to make you second guess what you're doing and what you're saying. And then,
yeah.
at one point, if nobody knew, you'll know now, I wanted to be a wrestler. I wasn't just a wrestling
Oh,
fan.
I know.
I wanted to be a wrestler. That's what I wanted to do. I started training and exercising, whatever I needed to do, but I was talked out of it. I was chastised about it.
Mm,
Like, well, how would that look? And what are your kids gonna say? But what people are saying about your kids when they go to school and this, so I was chastised out of it. You know what I mean? And now I'm not doing
wanted to
what I
do.
wanted to do. This is what
Right,
I wanted to do.
right,
Um,
right, right.
so all of them little things what I was talking about earlier, you don't even know that those little things was breaking you down, basically. You didn't even know. It's just
Mm-hmm.
somebody saying, you got a big head, or you got little feet, or you got da 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 da. But now subconsciously it's conditioned you to say, I can't run track because my feet little. No, you
Yeah.
can't, you can.
In the old days, they would say you can't be a ballerina if your breasts, and not to mention your butt, were
What
too
was too
big.
big?
And
That's
so
true.
certainly that was designed to keep, well, let's say me,
Mm.
Right.
out of being a ballerina. But so what we are gifted with in our lives are crises that
Okay.
cause us to question. So nobody likes
Oh.
the crises. When one comes, I'm like, oh Lord, like leave me alone. But what crises, the Chinese character for crises is danger and opportunity. So
Okay.
that when the structures begin to break down, whether
Okay.
it's in our marriages, sometimes in our health,
Yeah.
and even the crises that I am in right now personally with other family members where we've experienced the death of someone.
Right.
And I want to say, bad, wrong, no, undo it. How can we fix this? And what I get from that is that it is going to challenge me to look at the ways in which I have been conditioned to not live my
Mm.
fullest life. And so, although I am sad and I don't invite crises, when crises come, crises are breaking through that conditioned way of
Wow.
thinking.
Wow.
And
That's a
so
good way to
now
look at
we
it.
have an opportunity
Wow.
to allow ourselves to be broken
Mm.
and broken open
Oh, wow.
and to grow
Mm.
into a more fuller expression of ourselves. And that's the awesome beauty and power of when that conditioning breaks down, because it will break down. We are not at the
Yes.
mercy of our conditioning.
Wow. Well, hold on. Or Debbie is dropping gems. Ooh, boy, we should be paying her. Anyway. Yes. That well said. I couldn't say it any better. I don't even know how to follow that. Right, Boom?
Right. Yeah. I understand it wholeheartedly though. I
I
mean,
do.
I'm living through that entire thing. You know, my mom took us to church every day when we were young, or sent us to Sunday school. And you know
Oh,
what we
wow.
did? A Sunday school, we left Sunday school, went across the street to McDonald's and
To
got
McDonald's
ice cream.
every
And
day,
you know what I
every
mean? Like
time.
this is not my thing. I can't get jiggy with this. You know what I mean? And I
Man, you
felt
just
that.
told on us though, cause we used to take that offering money, everybody, and
Absolutely.
they just give us, and we used
And
to
go
go
across
across
the
the street to
street.
McDonald's. It was a setup.
Thank you, Inez,
Oh
for
yeah,
Inez Singletary says, "Teach the Gora, allow ourselves to be broken open." I love hearing a compliment and a thumbs up from my big sister.
Yes.
In terms of religion, I grew up in a situation where we were Christian. Nobody said to me at 5 years old, "Do you want to be a Christian?" They said, "You're a Christian."
No, they just said it.
One
Hello.
I heard that so the conditioning of the Christian milieu that I was involved in, maybe not all Christianity is like this, but I was told that if a child dies and they have not been baptized,
I've
that
heard that same thing.
child would go to hell.
I
And
was
for
told the
some,
same thing.
and then they
Yeah.
would describe hell and the burning and
The
no.
whole thing.
I
The
was like,
whole thing.
for me.
Yeah.
And somehow in my family, everybody had been baptized from Sam to who's older than me to Inez. I got skipped. Probably my mother was in the hospital or something. And then Wanda, Brian, and Andre had all been baptized. And that used to mess with me. And I can remember suffering
Wow.
to think
Wow.
that if I died, that I would go to hell, because that was the teaching and
Wow. That's
conditioning.
conditioning,
And I
man.
had to be about 11 or 12, walking down the street one day, mulling this over in my head. And I had probably one of my first independent thoughts. And I decided I didn't believe it.
There you
So
go. There you
suffering,
go. That's what's
the
up.
fear, the discomfort didn't cause me to sink into the limitation and the conditioning of the religious milieu into which I had been born. The suffering led me deep inside. And I said, I don't believe that. And thereafter, I questioned Christianity. And I remember the time, I think I was in seminary. And
Wow.
I don't think I'm not a Christian. So I would say I'm culturally a Christian. I like gospel music. And I like Jesus. I think Jesus is a revolutionary dude, so I'm down with Jesus, but I am not down with the doctrines of,
Right.
The church.
Right.
And I quote the Bible, but I, probably misquote it and make it mean what I needed, how I see it and intuit it on the inside. And then I grew to have courage to say, well, nobody in my family ever asked me if I was a Christian. They all just assumed I was.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know the lingo, and if they said praise the Lord, I'm down with that. You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we're, so that when we have crises in our lives, when we have suffering in our lives, that
Mm-hmm.
is an opportunity for us to break the mold
Could break the
of
mold. Yes.
the way one should live. I
Yeah.
recently learned that there were a group of women who lived together. So life says you should live this way, you should be married, you should, and these women decided, no, we're not going to live that way.
Good
We're
for
going to
them.
live differently. So
Good for them.
ultimately, the conditioning is to teach us, is to help us to feel the box we're in. That conditioning is
Ah, good
actually a
point.
service to us because
Ah,
once we feel, the confines of it,
of it. Yeah.
then we
Yeah. I
go,
think
wait a
that's
minute, this don't feel good. And then
right.
we can begin to
To
question
start questioning things.
and redesign and recreate our lives.
Right. I'm going to piggyback on what you said, especially about the religion, because like a lot of people, we went to church every Sunday, and we would get up every morning, dress up, go to Sunday school every morning, everything, because that's the way we were conditioned since I was very little, very little. That's the way. That's all we knew. As I got older,
Mhm.
I started thinking different differently and questioning my religion and the whole thing. And as I started doing this, people started looking at me funny. And when I finally decided that, you know what, I don't believe this at all, and I don't want anything to do with this, and decided to become an atheist, oh, people just couldn't get used to that idea at all. It took a long time for my family to just adjust to that. No, oh, you don't mean it. You don't mean it. Yeah, you ain't serious about it. Yeah, like, and so it took a long time for my family, friends, people around me to adjust to the fact that, yeah, I'm dead serious. I'm looking outside of that box. I'm outside that box. I'm my own person, and this is the path that I decided to walk. Everybody,
Yes.
yeah,
And
And
you could be in the church, you could be in the church and still, just because the person is in the church, it doesn't mean that that's a limitation for them, that they can still redefine their roles. But,
that's true
one
too.
of the things that the churches I saw, there was that I was exposed to, there was a minister in my day. It was a man, and he gave a sermon, and you couldn't say, excuse me, what do you mean by this? Like,
Oh no.
you have to respect the authority. Now, I want to offer that I think to respect authority is an important um, conditioning and training for us. However,
Okay.
the invitation ultimately is to trust your inner authority
And then
and
authority.
to
Thank
live
you.
authentically. So, the idea of authority is based on authoring. So, who authors your life?
Mm.
Who writes the story of your
Mm.
life? But
Yes. Yes.
are you the product of your conditioning, or
Are you
do you have an inner authority
authority?
that will allow you the confidence to listen to authorities, because
Mm.
sometimes they have a good way, so that we don't want to unilaterally rebel against authority.
No.
But we also want to know it is our authority that's listening to the other authority, whether it's a teacher or a doctor, because many of us don't question doctors because we've been trained
That's
that the
true.
doctor is smarter and
That's true.
knows more. So we go to the
True.
doctor and say, what you got to say, doctor? And they say what they say, and we do what they say. My doctor, when
Yes.
I come around, is like, oh, Lord, her take vaccines, and I'm like, no, I don't take that. No, no. Because I have the confidence to appreciate the authority,
Mm-hmm.
but also to check in with my inner authority.
Your inner authority. That's the most important thing. Boom, you were about to say something.
no, I absolutely do the same thing, 100%. Especially now, it's all about how I want to move and the way I want to move.
Absolutely.
Again, I don't give myself a label. I don't believe in none of it. I don't believe in somebody sitting in the clouds. I don't believe there's somebody sitting in the ground waiting to burn us. I don't believe in none of that stuff. So And I'm not giving myself a label, but that does not make me any less of a good person. That does not make me any less of making boneheaded decisions sometimes, or blah blah blah. But overall, I'm a good person, and in conditioning, I questioned if I was a good person or not at one point. You know, and I had to realize, no, I'm a good person. Like, stop. Don't
Okay,
even.
listen. And I wouldn't suggest that I'm not asking you to define it, but I'm asking
That's
you
right.
if we were talking outside of this milieu, I would ask you, what do you mean a good person? Because a lot of times people who are good are actually trying to mask a deep inner feeling of not goodness. And sometimes they become very nice people and very helpful people. And what I have learned or am learning, I'm always learning, is that some of the angriest people in the world are nice people who have learned that good is some kind of value. And so, I don't want to strive to be good. I want to strive to be me. I want to strive to know myself. I want to strive because good for a woman may not be to speak out the way I speak out. I'm in some groups where they don't want to hear anything from me. They want me to type and take the minutes and be done with it. So we have to. So if I try to be good in that situation, I am not going to be being myself. So I don't strive to be good. Being good has been like a noose around my neck. I strive to be authentic.
There you go.
And I think that's way more powerful than good.
Well, you use
It
the
is.
using the verbiage good. Basically that's a vocabulary thing. It's almost saying bad. Like I always say, or even right and wrong. Like there's everything is not right and wrong. You know what I mean? So I get it, and that's pretty much what I'm saying. At the
I,
end of the day, I strive to be the best
Yes.
Sekou DJ Boom that I can be. Will I say a jerkish thing? Yes. If you walk up to me while we doing karaoke and ask me, can you sing? I'm gonna tell you no. Because it's karaoke night. Why are you asking me that? What's wrong with you? Just tell me what you want to sing. So that part of me is me. I'm telling y'all right now, that's not gonna change. So you come out to karaoke night and you say, can I sing a song? I'm probably gonna tell you no.
See, he ain't good. He ain't good.
Yeah, right.
Well, we don't expect you to change. We expect you to be you, and that's why we love having you on this show. Right on, Debbie.
I say, yes, you do.
All right, I'm gonna start breaking it down, guys. Thanks. It's been a great conversation. We want to thank everybody for watching, but it's time for us to start breaking it down. So, you guys got any final thoughts before we start breaking it out of here?
If I could get it together, I would say the things that limit us are designed to inspire us to rise out of the limitations to which we were conditioned.
Yes.
So we want to be free.
Yes. Beautiful.
We are free.
Step step outside your comfort zone. Step outside that
You
box. I
got
do want to. I do want to let folks know that on Mother's Day, I am well, not Mother's Day, but the day before, which is Saturday, May 10th. I am doing a shush and eat crab feast here in Baltimore.
Whoa, that crab feast
Um,
too. Oh,
right.
yes.
And this is the flyer that I was talking about. That's the flyer.
All
So
right.
Shush and Eat is three DJs. We'll have three DJs DJing with the silent disco headphones. Um, Early bird special going on right now, $65 a person. Um, and at the bottom of the flyer, it lets you know if you got any information, any questions or whatever, you contact me. My phone number is on the flyer. So that is Saturday before Mother's Day. So if you don't have nothing going on, come on out and hang out with us. Shush and eat crab feast. And yes, there will be other food there, all those good things. But that's the flyer I was talking about earlier. And I got somebody picking me apart about the flyer. I said, listen, it says for more information, call me.
There
That's
you
why
go.
it's on there.
There you
I'm
go.
not listing everything on there. So no, I'm not doing that. That flyer will be look a hot mess if I listed everything on there. Yes, there will be other food. Yes, there's going to be a bar. Come on, let's logically think about this. But that's why it says for more information,
There you
call
go,
me.
everybody.
Go.
Make sure you show
Grab
up.
all the information I need.
That's it. Make sure you go show up to that and bring your appetites, everybody. It's going to be good. Well, I just want to say, of course, to everyone, to find your, to be the best you, I believe you have to look outside of your conditioning. Respect everybody else's condition as well, everybody. How about that? But again, to be your best you, I think you just have to look outside your conditioning. I think the three of us would all agree. We want all of you watching out there to be the best you. And keep on watching the show. How about that?
Absolutely.
That being said, I just want to mention to find out what's going on in Shyheim world, don't ever forget to visit therealshyheim.com, where you can get my song Weightless, Badass, and others, everybody, and support your boy. Go out and buy it. You can buy those records on Amazon Music or on every streaming platform out there, everybody. So go please support your guy and go do that and have a weightless weekend. Also, this show is not free, everybody, so I just want to post this.
Help support your favorite podcast from the shore to be more by donating to the show. You can send donations to the links below, or if you're a business, you can call us directly at 732-455-2503. We would like to thank the entire From the Shore to Be More family for all your help. And don't forget to tell a friend.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, tell a friend, please, everybody. It's been a pleasure being here with my lovely co-host and all of you watching the show, everybody. It's been great having you all, but we got to let you go to enjoy your weekend so we can enjoy ours. Right, guys?
Yeah, because I got to go host karaoke tonight.
I gotta go pack because I'm going to Maryland.
All right, well, you have a safe trip on Debbie. Boom, hardest working DJ in business. You have a good time tonight. You guys out there watching, you have a good time, and we'll see you all back here next week for another episode, everybody. Goodbye, everybody. We'll see you next week.
And I know it's gonna be a lovely